Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. So today I'm going to show you how to connect your domain. So if you have a custom domain for your business, how to connect that to your Mighty Sites website. So today I'm going to show you specifically how to do that with GoDaddy. So if your domain is registered through GoDaddy, this is the process that you follow to connect that GoDaddy domain back to your Mighty Sites website. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here into my account. You can see I have a bunch of domains here. I'm going to click on the one I want to use, which is this Sheffield hardware domain. Okay, so I'm going to first just copy this here, copy that, and jump over back into my Mighty Sites dashboard and click on Connect a Domain. Now I'm just going to paste in this domain that I own right here. Okay, and then I'm going to click on Save. Now, once I click on save, I'm going to get this little dashboard here, which gives me instructions as to what I need to do next. It's going, excuse me, it's going to tell me that I need to have my primary A record point to this address, and then I need to update my CNAME record to this information. So I'm going to go back over here, follow the steps. I want to use my domain, connect to an existing site. And then I'm going to go right here and type in my site, which is here. Just connect the Mighty Sites URL. So let me just click on that. Click next. User goes to sheffieldhardware.com. They'll be redirected to this. Finish. Now it's applying the changes. Okay, so now let's go back over and test this. So I'm going to click on my domain. And now let's try pasting this in. So if I go over here and I paste this in, click enter. Now you can see that it brings me to the website, right? So that's great. So now I can start to market my business by using that URL. But there is one thing that happens. So you'll have to decide if that's okay for you or if you want to continue this process. Either one is fine. So you can see that when I put that in, so I'll do it again. I'm going to paste in sheffieldhardware.com and hit enter. And it brings me to the website, which is great. So that'll work for a customer if they type in that domain. But the website is still, it'll automatically default back to the sheffieldhardware.mightysites.com. So the domain is just pointing to the existing website. So if there's more things that we want to do, we need to take an additional step here. So let me scroll through to manage DNS over here. So I'm going to click on manage DNS. And this is where it's going to give me the option to make changes to those records that we talked about, right? So right here, here are the A records, and you can see the forwarding. So that's what that's called. Right now, it's just forwarding the domain for me, right? So it's forwarding this to the new website. And that's why it works the way that you just saw. But if I want to edit the DNS records, then let me go in here and can't modify that have been applied or connected, have been applied or so what I'm going to have to do is probably going to need to get rid of this forwarding in order to edit those records. That's what I think is probably the case here. Okay. So let me go over here. Just going to refresh this. Okay. Now you can see that it gives me the option to edit these records, right? So now I can go in here. So that's just in case you've done the forwarding, that's important to know that you've got to delete them there. So if I go into this section and I've got the A record, name, part. So what I want to do is change that primary A record. So I'm going to click on edit. And then I go right over here to Mighty Sites. And it says your primary A record should point to this. So I'm going to copy it. and go right back here to value and put in the IP address. Time to live custom 600 seconds. That's good. So now I've updated the A record right there to point to the new address. And now the C name right here. So the www C name, now I want to edit that as well. So C name, www, and here's the value. Now remember, we want to update that to sites.mightysite.com. So that's not going to make your website sites.mightysite.com. That's just the way the technical aspects work to point it to the right place. And then I'm going to drop this to custom. I'm going to do 600 seconds as well. I think that's the fastest you can do, and click save. Okay, so now I've updated those records here, both the C name, and I've updated the primary A record in GoDaddy for my SheffieldHardware.com URL. So here's the website that we built that we want to connect to that domain. So now I'm going to go back over to Mighty Sites, and there's this green button here that says I completed the DNS updates. So now I'm going to click on I've completed the DNS updates. Now it does take some time for these records to update. So now we'll wait, and I'll hop back in once this has made some progress. But now we're going to wait and let the updating start to happen here in the system. And this is going to consistently check, and it's going to tell us when it's processing. So I'll check back in just a minute. Okay, so you can also check in here, and I want to share a few things. So we are making progress. So you can see SheffieldHardware.com. You can see that that is updating right here, and we can see that the domain is being connected because the IP address is updating. So just like when we went in here and we added that new IP address, what we needed to do was that's telling GoDaddy to point to the Mighty Sites website. So now you can see that that's working. Another way that you can check this is you can go to this website called dnschecker.org. You can type in your website address, and I will include the link to this with this video. But you can type in your website address and click search, and then it'll load and tell you, excuse me, if your website has been updated to the new IP address. So you can see that that's happening across the board here. So if I go back into Mighty Sites right now in the process, you can see that part of it has been updated so far. But again, it takes a little bit for the software and the system. No matter what website or what registrar you're using, it just takes time for all the system to update. So you can see it was last checked 1 second ago, and that part of it is updated here with the Sheffield hardware, and then the other part is still being updated. So we'll check back again soon. But you can see that we're making progress, and this is being updated to that custom domain. Okay, so I wanted to share this because now Mighty Sites has updated. So both the CNAME and the IP address, the A record, have both updated on the site. So now you can see that Mighty Sites is issuing that secure certificate for the website. So you're going to have a totally secure website for your business. So you can see this little lock right here. If I click on it, it says the connection is secure. So that's what you want for your business and for your customers. That comes included with your Mighty Sites subscription. So the software, once your domain is connected, the software is going to issue a secure certificate for your business, and that's what it shows it's doing right here. So if you visit your domain in the meantime, sometimes it'll say, that it's not secure yet, or show a message like it's not available. That's because the secure certificate is issuing. Mighty Sites is doing that work. It doesn't take long, but then it'll issue, excuse me, a secure certificate. And then once you see that, you'll see fully connected. Manage your domain. You can now see this green check mark that it's fully connected. So if I click on this and go to SheffieldHardware.com, I'm going to copy this over, and I'm going to go over here, paste it in. Now you can see that the website is fully connected. So if I view it, it goes right to the website. And now if I want to go into this section, let me look. It's still defaulting to the Mighty Sites site. So I think that'll just take a minute because we had the forwarding set up before to switch that back so that the forwarding, so that it stays on that domain. If not, that's something you can also contact GoDaddy about. That might kind of be their default settings. So you can also contact GoDaddy and just say, if it doesn't revert, how do I make sure that that stays on my domain instead of reverting to the Mighty Sites when I want it to? And there's usually a setting or a control in every domain that gives you the option to make those changes. So Just like that, you've now connected your website to Mighty Sites. You'll see that connected in to your custom domain in the system. And then when people view your website or put in that URL, it'll take them right to your website. So you can do that either of two ways. You can forward to the domain, or you can go in here and make the changes to the A records and things so that it goes directly to your domain as well. And then again, if you need help, the domain support's right here. So if you need help with anything like, defaulting to a certain domain or the other things like that, just contact GoDaddy support, because obviously they're the registrar, so they handle the domain. So just like that, you've connected your Mighty Sites website to your GoDaddy custom domain.